Right, so let's get started. As I'm going to discuss you, as I have mentioned you earlier, as I am going to discuss about two things in project management. Because before I'm getting into those 2 points, let me explain you what project management is all about. So project management is not something confined only for IT, because most of the people may have some misconception over project management is something relating to IT application development. To an extent possible, initially to understand it, that is true, but not to the full extent, because project management is a kind of concept which is applicable for everyone. That is not something confined only for IT people. Of course, because of the prominency of IT industries in organization level, and as well as the kind of penetration it has. So we have more exposure towards project management from the context of IT. But not only in IT, even in non-IT segment, even project management is required. When we are working on the service sector, or we are working on the manufacturing side, or we are working on the construction majorly, you can know that, right? So you can clearly see and evident. Because when we are working on the construction side, construction of a building or construction of something, there is project management is involved in it. Means what is the budget, right? How much time do we require this to be completed? So when we will be in break even, when we will be in profits and losses, what are the possible risks which are involved in it, how to minimize it. So this sort of concept is not something different from one another. It will be the same for even IT projects, even in non-IT also, the same process will be continued. Now, when we talk about project management, this project management we have to be discussed and we have to divide majorly into two things. The first one is called process groups. You are following, Dylan, right? If you have any questions, you can ask at any point in time.
No, I'm following you. Yeah.
The first one is about process groups, we call it as. And second is called knowledge areas, because people have some confusion over here even. Right? So process groups are different, knowledge areas are different. Because the knowledge areas, as like you see in business analysis, because everywhere the knowledge areas matters. Like if you go for business analysis, like there will be some business analysis planning and monitoring, health station and collaboration, requirements management, life cycle, right? So, etc., we have like solution assessment and validation, underlying competencies, uh, business requirement analysis, design definition, strategy analysis, all that. In the same way, knowledge areas, even we have in project management as well. But before we are getting into the knowledge areas, let us understand about generally what are the process groups which are involved in project management. Because when we see project management from a larger context and a high level view, generally these process groups will be categorized into these things. The first one is called initiation. First one is called initiation. Okay. I think you are following, right? So initiation is the first one. As part of the process groups, I am saying. The
Yes.
first one is called initiation. Second will be called as planning.
Planning and then execution.
Third is called as execution or executing or execution. Followed by this, the next is monitoring.
Monitoring, controlling, yes.
Followed by controlling.
Closing.
Last but not least, closing. Right. So these are the basic process groups which normally involved in any of the project management. So this is nothing to do with technology. This is nothing to do with domain. Okay. This is point number one. So when we talk about process groups, initiation is the first one, where How are we going to initiate the process? This process initiation might be sometimes connected with the pre-sales part, because normally when being a project manager, whenever we are working on the application from the IT point of view, I'm talking about, you will be confined only for a particular project, isn't it? Right? You will be confined. Even in that particular project, sometimes there will be a situation where there will be some amount of budget will be allocated for you. Yes or no? Right? There will be some X amount of budget will be allocated. Wherein being a project manager, you are responsible to complete that within that limited budget. That's what generally our responsibility and challenge lies.
Right.
But here there are two things, because of course you are from the government sector. I'm not sure whether you have that idea or not, but usually from the private context, if you see, normally vendors, because normally clients, whoever want a solution to be provided for their business problem, usually the first thing what is that they'll go is called EOI. So before I'm getting into initiation, let me explain that first, so that you'll be knowing about the initiation well. Normally, for example, there was a customer who is into, for example, belongs to banking sector or insurance, for example, let's say that. So they want some application to be designed for their requirements or etc. etc. The first thing what is that they do is called EOI. You might have heard about it. EOI. What is EOI stands for? EOI. EOI. EOI stands for expression of interest. EOI stands for expression of interest. Expression of interest means, let's say there is a financial institution, a bank, which is called Y. The name of the bank called Y. They want some core banking solution to be developed for their requirements, because assume that there was an existing core banking application which they were using for a very long time. So due to the changes happens in the business process, followed by the government business rules, what they have changed, as well as the lines of business services have increased to the next level. A financial or a bank was decided to enhance their core banking application by adding new modules to that, because lines of services what bank used to provide has increased. Normally what banks do, banks will take deposits on a high level context. If you see, banks will take deposits from the customers, against to that they will be providing interest on that, from the context of Indian banks, right? So some foreign banks usually, they will in order to protect the amount of the customers, they will charge, right? So there are two different variants, depends on the country to country, it will vary. That's a different context, right? So banks usually are the one which usually are allowed to protect the funds of a particular customer. Not only that, they will be providing loans, right? So the different business loans, house loans, mortgage loans, all these will be provided by them. Next, not only this, they will be even performing some investment banking areas also, because investment banking means, for example, if an organization wants to acquire funds from the market, right? So for their business expansion, normally they must be listed in the stock market. Am I right, Dylan? Right? They must be.
Right.
So which is what we call it as public limited. The company must be public limited, then only they have authority, official authority to raise the funds from the public. Otherwise, it is not allowed. Legally, it is not allowed. So that process has to be initiated by someone. Usually that sort of activities will be done by the investment banking companies. So investment banking people are the one kind of service in the banking sector, apart from retail, apart from corporate banking, etc. I'm saying, because anyway, those things, anyway, you know it. So that hence I'm not getting into that territory. So in this usually IPO means initial public offer, where they have to value the company, which sector this company belongs to, since how long they are working, what are their financials, what are their balance sheets, profit and loss accounts, assets, liabilities. Followed by this, how much amount they want to acquire from the outside for their business expansion. So for that, what must be the stock value, stock of the stock cost, right? Each and every stock, what must be the value for each and every stock, so that how many stocks we have to sell through an IPO initially to start with. All these things, this is all something has to be done by the professional team. So
Right.
this is one kind of service which investment banking companies do. Okay, this is what generally one line of service which assume that the bank called Y has introduced. Next is mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions means if anybody wants to sell the company, or if anybody wants to acquire a company from other area, they require some experts who has to liaise all that, right? So that's the reason why in this mergers and acquisitions there are two sides. One is buyer side and second is seller side. Buyer always thrive to see they have to get deal for a better cost, for a competitive and best cost. Usually that's how any buyer's perception. Seller always thinks from the higher level, right? So they want to get a good price for their company which they were selling. So for that, they require some professional agencies who has to manage all that. So for that also investment banking people works. Apart from that, portfolios, right? Portfolio stocks, debentures, etc. All that. So these are all the additional services an institution called Y has included in their business. Now they want to expand their services. They have expanded. For that, they require some technical support. So for that, what they do first, they will go, the very first thing what is that they do is they will go for EOI, which is called expression of interest. Means whoever is having interest over providing solutions for the problems, what is that we have. So please come forward, right? So that's what generally they do. So based on the expression of interest, the next thing is called RFI, request for information. After that, RFP, I can say. RFP. What is RFP? RFP stands for request for proposals. Request for proposal means, so they will provide the high level information about the solution they were expecting, followed by the rules and regulations, eligibility criteria. All these will be mentioned on the RFP document. And whoever are eligible to participate in the bidding, they are allowed to take the tender form. Okay. Through this tender form, usually tendering process will go. Anyway, you know it. Right? That's how general. Because you are
Yeah,
a government entity, you know it well. Because
so
government organizations do all that, right? So that you know.
right, quick question after EOI, you mentioned RFI or RFP. So
RFP. RFI means regular information you are gathering. Our request for information, we call it as. RFP is important.
Mhm.
RFP, I am talking about.
Okay.
RFP means request for proposal. RFP stands for request for
Proposal.
request for proposal. For example, as I told you, customer client wants some solution to be provided for their problem, right? What they do, they have to release an RFP. What is RFP means? RFP means request for proposal. Request for proposal means they'll be mentioning some information. What information? What exactly the problem they are facing? What kind of solution they are expecting? And they will mention a high level note about their infrastructure, technical infrastructure on a high level note. And what are the rules and regulations, do's and don'ts? What are the timelines? Followed by this qualification criteria. Qualification criteria is important. Qualification criteria means, let's say, qualification criteria usually will be divided into two different parts. One is financial criteria. Second is technical criteria. Financial criteria means company, whoever is planning to participate in the bidding process should be in an active state and should have this much of turnover. That's what we call it as financial criteria. Second is a technical criteria. Technical criteria means, let's say, for example, they're expecting some core banking application to be developed for their institution. Whoever is participating in the bidding, these people should have experience in developing core banking solutions for the last 4 or 5 years, at least 2 to 3 clients they must complete, right? So with the budget of so and so, etc., etc., right? So those are the criteria. So normally, what is that they do? First, they release an RFP, request for proposal. So whoever wants to participate in the bidding, whoever are eligible for that terms and conditions, whichever was mentioned in the document, those people will take the tender document and they'll participate in the bidding. Am I right? Dilip, listening?
Yes, I'm listening. So expression of interest, it comes from the in this example, investment banking company.
Financial institution, client. I can say client.
Right.
Client. Expression of interest means, first of all, they'll advertise that EOI first, right? They'll advertise. First EOI will be advertised. After that, RFP will be given by them. This is all happens from the client perspective. A investment banking company or a financial institution, whatever it is. Client. Okay. From the client. Understood? Clear?
Understood. Yes.
Let me explain you from your experience. Let's say that you are working for a government organization, right?
Yeah, so Raj, I think I'll understand it better from a banking perspective because I worked with a bank in the past. So yeah, we banking
Okay.
example.
Let me go through the bank only, right? Let me take that example. No problem. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Can I continue with that experience, the banking example? It's better.
Right, sure.
Okay, good. Okay, anyway, you understood, right? That's enough, right? So it is.
Right.
So request for proposal is what generally they will be submitted. So based on the RFP document, what is that they have submitted, whoever are eligible will be participating in the bidding. So they'll take the tender document, they'll be participating in the bidding. When they participate in the bidding, they have to provide a project information report based on the guidelines what they have given, based on the information which was there in RFP. Generally, project information sheet or project information proposal or project management proposal document has to be prepared by the project management team. Understood? Clear? Dilla, right? Listen carefully.
Yeah, so request for proposal normally this is from the solution providing company, right?
Yeah, request for proposal has been raised by the client. Okay. Again, as to the request for proposal, whoever is planning to participate in the bidding, they have to give a proposal document to the client.
Right.
Based on the information which was mentioned on the request for proposal. So they have to provide. So this is what we are experienced of. This is what our credibilities and credentials and capabilities. And this is where we are expertise in success we are into. And this is what generally the duration we were expecting this to become. So every information has to be mentioned under the project information proposal document. Generally, this project information proposal document will be prepared by the project management team. Understood? Clear? Right? Will be prepared initially whenever they are participating in the bidding. So because participation in the bidding is not something directly going by physical you do, right? So based on the request for proposal document, RFP document, here, whoever is planning to participate in the bidding, for example, JED is a software company. Let me put you this way. JED is a software company. So based on RFP document, these people are eligible. Let me put you this way, right? These people are eligible. What these people has to do? These people has to submit a proposal to the client, right? Project information proposal. So based on the initial discussion with those people and all, they have to submit a project information proposal. So before they are submitting the project information proposal, normally there will be a pre-sales team, right? So pre-sales team, we call it as
This is
pre-sales team.
before project information proposal, right?
Yes. Pre-sales team will be there. What is pre-sales team? Pre-sales team are the people who are responsible or work to identify and get the projects to the organization. Understood, Dylan? Clear? Right? Pre-sales team. Understood or not? Right?
So this is from the client, right?
This is from the vendor side. Whichever the software company you're working, there it is.
Okay.
Because there are two people. Let me show you in a diagram format. You will be knowing well. Okay. For example, this is the client. Okay. Client. Okay. Client called
Let's call it TD or CIBC or RBC.
client called TV. For example, this is the company called Client TV. Right. So this is the organization. What these people do, these people will release an RFP. These people will release RFP, right? So request for proposal will be released by these people here. Understood? Clear or not?
Right.
Right. So these people will release RFP. First point. So based on this RFP, there will be, assume that there will be 3 organizations. Let me put you this way. Organization 1, organization 2, organization 3. Let's say companies, software companies, organization 1, right? Company 1, C1. Next, C2, C3, right? So three companies. So these 3 companies have gone through this RFP document.
Right. Yes.
Understood? Have gone through this RFP document. So based on this RFP document, what will happen? These 3 companies again will have a pre-sales teams. They'll have a pre-sales teams. Yeah, pre-sales teams. They'll have a pre-sales team.
Right.
Pre-sales team, right? So these people have pre-sales team as separate. At the same time, these people will have pre-sales team as separate. This organization will also have a pre-sales team as separate. Understood, Dylan? Listening?
Yes.
Right, so pre-sales teams. What this pre-sales team do? This pre-sales team's responsibility is to get the projects to the organization. Sales and business development teams. In whichever the organization you see, the same way, this will be useful, applicable. Understood, Dylan, right? Now, but when you see non-IT organizations, these pre-sales teams, whatever the pre-sales teams are we talking about, these pre-sales teams usually consists of people who are experienced in negotiations, etc., etc. Am I right? They are it.
Right.
Right. So they are experienced, whoever is experienced in communication, negotiation skills, right? Budgeting skills. Those people will be in the sales team. That's how generally our perception is. But whereas when it comes to software, IT companies, pre-sales team is a combination of few things. Normally, yeah, pre-sales teams in IT consists of the following people. The following people, right? So consists of the following people. So who are they? The consists of the following people. First, sales team, right? So people who are experienced in the sales, right? Negotiations, all that. Those people will be there. Next,
Right.
person, whoever is having experience as a project manager. Let's say, for example, C1, for example, company one, or whichever the organization. Let us take C1 as an organization. C1 organization have somewhere around 10 projects are running now. For example, 10 projects are running. In these 10 projects, they have 10 different project managers. For every project, there is a project manager. Let me put you this way, okay, in a simple way.
Right.
One person, because that's decision depends on the company to company. The decision that they have identified fifth project in that project number 5, whoever is the project manager is a senior guy, senior person, and they expected that person should be in the pre-sales team. They have expected because project manager experience he has. Project manager experience means he will be having experience over the budget, right? He'll be having experience in the workforce planning, right? So work breakdown structures. At the same time, they'll have a knowledge over the technology. Am I right?
Right.
They will be more experienced. So what generally organization do? Organization will put project management expert, whoever is having, so that person in pre-sales team also. Understood? Why? Because these are IT projects. People who are participating in the pre-sales team, people who are in the pre-sales team, sales related stuff, they require some expert like a project manager who can understand the real requirements and real cost, right? So budget, all that kind of expertise is required. That's the reason why they will appoint a person, whoever is having project management experience in the pre-sales team. He is one of the member. Clear, Dylan? Listening?
Yes, clear. Yes.
Right. Next, you will be having a BA team also, business analyst. People whoever have experience in business analysis for a very long time, 10 years, more than 15 years of experience. Right. So those people will be there. Followed by this, some technical team members, right? So subject to requirements, subject to the need and all. Some technical people will also be involved in it. So these are the people who will be there in the pre-sales team. So sales team is not something confined only for negotiations, communication skills, all that, right? Not that kind of people. Especially in the field of IT, when we talk about pre-sales teams, means pre-sales team is combination of sales team people, project management experienced person will be there, person whoever is having experience on business analysis, because business analysis people are the one who will explain the business analysis part of that, right? So that's the reason why they require some people, whoever is having business analysis experience. At the same time, some technical team people will also be involved. Why? Because these people have to prepare some kind of project proposals.
Right. Right.
Project proposal documents has to be prepared based on the initial information they have received from the customer.
Right.
Right. So project management information document or project proposal documents and all, these people have to mention based on the RFP what they have received.
Right.
Let me do this way. Right. So yeah. Yeah, you can see here, right? So this is what generally they do. Project management information, right? So whatever the project proposal documents they want to prepare. So for that, based on the RFP, these people, all these people will be involved. Because salespeople have experience as separate. Person, whoever is having experience over project management, there. If this is disconnected, please join again, Dylan. Okay, please do.
No, I can see everything.
Please don't get confused. Okay, please join again. Okay, so sales team will be there. Project management team people will be involved in it. Business analyst team people will be involved, because business analyst team will gather the high level requirements, etc. All that. Followed by this, technical team will also be involved in this. This is where generally the project proposal document is what normally we prepare based on the